Edge Products is a global supplier of medical products. They have one primary product which is manufactured in the United States and two overseas subsidiaries which produce two key supplies for the primary product. So parent is a US based company and its two subsidiaries in two different countries. Both subsidiaries also sell these supplies to to other companies. So the US operations purchases the two supplies internally using transfer pricing. The supplies are of the same quality as any available from other suppliers, and there would be no benefit to purchasing these supplies outside of the company. The market for the supplies is very competitive and prices are stable. Competitive market, external market exists, external market price exists. For performance purposes, the US operation is evaluated by a department such as marketing, IT, sales, while the overseas operations are smaller and evaluated as a whole. Okay, now the first question. We have got the idea we have a parent situated in the United States and two overseas subsidiaries, and they are involved in internal sales and purchase of certain goods which are also available externally. The market for those goods is quite competitive, and for the firm there is no specific benefit for buying from outside the firm. All right. The first question: define transfer pricing and identify the objectives of transfer pricing. So as you can see, there are 6 questions. You have to allocate your time accordingly. The point plan for this question would include you need to define transfer pricing and what are the objectives. Objectives of transfer pricing is that in a decentralized organization, we want to evaluate the performance of divisional and segment managers. So they must be given autonomy, the authority to make decisions about their departments, about their segments. So transfer pricing is for the purpose of performance evaluation and to give the segment managers autonomy to make decisions in their own domain. So these are the 3 objectives, or you can write just a couple of objectives would be sufficient. So managers can focus their attention on their own subunits in a decentralized structure. It will also achieve a company's strategies and goals, because managers have been given the broad outline within which they will have to perform their work, and they have to keep the interest of their departments as well as the interest of the whole company in mind. It's called goal congruence, and this is done specifically for the purpose of performance evaluation. Decentralization, where we divide our organization into segments, cost centers, profit centers, revenue centers, and investment centers, and we evaluate the performance of segment managers accordingly. So that is the main purpose of responsibility accounting. So your answer should be around these points, which you can nicely lay down. Define transfer pricing is a way in which one of the segments of a firm sell goods and services to another segment in the same organization. It's the price one subunit, segment, department, or division charges for a product or service supplied to another subunit of the same organization. And the objectives we have already discussed. Right, so quite an easy question, quite manageable. Identify the methods for determining transfer pricing. We have 3 main ways of determining transfer pricing. Market-based transfer pricing. Theoretically, this is the best way to establish transfer pricing. Theoretically, it is the best way because external market, the price has been determined through forces of demand and supply. So more objective pricing is based upon the market pricing. Second, when the external market doesn't exist, then we have this option, cost-based transfer pricing. And we have a third alternative also. When we want to give our segment managers autonomy to make decisions about pricing themselves, we can allow them to negotiate the pricing between themselves by themselves. Selling and buying divisions, they can agree to a price through negotiation. So these are the main ways. You just don't need to give their advantages and disadvantages. You just need to give exactly what is required. Just 3 ways. Identify 3 methods of determining transfer pricing. These are the three methods, and just 1 or 2 lines on these would be sufficient. Do not go for advantages and disadvantages. This would be overdoing things, because he has asked for advantages and disadvantages in the next test. Explain the advantages and disadvantages of each of the transfer pricing. Now, exactly that's what you need to do now. The three methods that you identified, now you need to give just one advantage, one disadvantage. Don't go overdo things, or just a couple of advantage, one disadvantage would be sufficient. So these are the three discussed. So market-based transfer pricing, as we know, is theoretically it is the best method for setting the transfer pricing. It evaluates the segment managers more objectively. The drawback is that it leaves little room for negotiations. It leaves little opportunity for discussion between the selling department and the buying department. Or in some cases, market price doesn't exist. Cost-based transfer pricing, the advantage is it is easiest. At least the price that is set covers the cost. Cost plus some certain margin is added to the price. Most of the time it achieves goal congruence. But the drawback is that there is no incentive to control costs. Cost-based pricing might push the managers to transfer their inefficiency, overcosting to the next department. That's the drawback. Negotiated transfer pricing is also a good method of transfer pricing in which goal congruence would be enhanced. It will motivate the selling and buying department to discuss the pricing within the parameters of the organizational objectives. It results in positive motivation, but since it involves bargaining, it involves discussions, it will take time and hence it will be costly. Just sufficient answer. Write this and you are good to go. You will get full credit for this, right? Just you can give these advantages, disadvantage. This way you don't need to explain every advantage or disadvantage in detail. Just this is sufficient. Lead to optimal decisions. Achieve goal congruence when markets are competitive. It's self-explanatory. You don't need to overdo things, right? Because you have other questions to answer too. All right, then we have next question. Based on the scenario, which transfer pricing method should this company select? Explain your answer. Going back to the scenario, if you remember, the market for the supplies is very competitive and prices are stable. Moreover, the supplies are of the same quality as any available from other suppliers, and there would be no benefit to purchasing the supplies outside the company. So goods available within the company and outside, they are of the same quality, prices are the same. So which of these do you think is the most appropriate pricing strategy? So based on the scenario, which transfer pricing method should this company select? Explain your answer. As the information suggests, that market-based transfer pricing is the most appropriate one. Because why? The reason is the market is competitive. There is no cost advantage. There is no any competitive advantage we have compared to the market. Market is stable. And the buying department has no advantage in purchasing the components and goods from outside. So in this case, market-based pricing is the most appropriate. Because there are no benefits to the company as a whole from buying or selling in the external market instead of transactions internally. So on most of the situation, external market price is considered to be at least theoretically superior. And your answer should revolve around these points. Sufficient, well explained, for full credit. Okay, next is, how could tariffs, custom duties, tariff is like a tax on imports. When you buy from something from foreign country, your home country charges certain taxes on that import in order to discourage the import, in order to support the balance of payment. So how could tariffs, custom duties, or taxes affect transfer pricing and a related performance evaluation in this multinational company? Transfer pricing, some companies use transfer pricing to manipulate their tax liabilities. Companies tend to reduce their income tax payments through transfer pricing. How to do it, I'll explain. This is what they do. they will disclose less income in those jurisdictions, in those countries where tax rates are high. For example, average tax rate in Pakistan is around 40%, for example. And we have a subsidiary in the US, for example, and the average tax rate there is 20%, for example. Now, what you will do, these subsidiaries will transact their buying and selling with each other in such a way so as to show the least income or the lowest income here so as to pay less taxes, and release this income in the US so as to pay tax at the rate of 20%. So in other words, where the tax rates are high, firms will tend to manipulate transfer pricing in such a way so as to show their income, less income in the areas where the tax rates are high. And since you can't hide the income, so you may release the income where the tax rates are low. So here you pay very little tax, and here since the tax rate is low, here you pay less tax. So in both sides you pay, your overall international tax liability is reduced. This is how we play around with transfer pricing to reduce your international tax liability. How do we avoid tariffs and custom duties? Companies involved in some unethical practices called under-invoicing, like for example, as we have seen in the case study, let's go back to the case study to focus fully. Like for example, this is the parent company situated in the United States, right? And we have just assumed that the tax rate in the United States are 20%. And one of the subsidiary is in Pakistan where the tax rates are 40%. So what they will do, they know the tax rates here are high, so they will under invoice. Here they will sell their goods through transfer pricing to the United States parent. Connected company is a part of the same company. It's a subsidiary. So what they will do, they will undersell, they will under invoice their goods, maybe an item that they normally sell for $100, they will sell for just maybe $50, so as to show less income here, and so accordingly they are taxed less heavily because the tax rate here in Pakistan is high. When this item reaches the United States, they have invoiced the item at $50. United States custom duties, tariffs are high. Since the invoice amount is low, so this low invoice amount will attract low custom duty. Hence, the US parent will have to pay less custom duties and tariffs on these goods. So this is how internationally firms involve themselves in some unethical practices of setting transfer prices in such a way so as to reduce their international tax liabilities and avoid custom duties and tariffs this way, through under invoicing or over invoicing. That's the idea I gave you. So your answer should revolve around this. Transfer pricing can reduce income tax payments by reporting more income in low tax countries, just like in the US where the tax rate is 20%, and less income in high tax countries like in Pakistan where the tax rate is 40%. But since tax people are not stupid, however, the tax regulation of different countries restrict transfer pricing, they have certain mechanism to detect this illegal activity, this unethical practice. Despite that, firms still do these things. But recently, a few years ago, Starbucks was involved in transfer pricing fraud where they tried to evade taxes. Last one, identify and explain the 4 different types of responsibility centers. Identify and explain. We know there are 4 types of responsibility centers: cost centers, profit centers, revenue centers, and investment centers. Just a couple of lines or a single line would be sufficient. Cost center means the centers whose managers are accountable for costs only. Revenue centers managers are responsible or accountable for revenues only. Profit centers managers are responsible for revenues and costs both. Investment center, which is the most complex responsibility center, the manager of the investment center is accountable for investments, revenues, and cost all. And that's all. So you can give just this much description, explanation is sufficient. No need to overdo things. You need to save time.